TD the Star from the Star Now. We back at T for this video. I'm gonna break down the Momma Duck versus FBG Duck manager situation or disagreement. We're gonna go into a couple different segments of interviews throughout our YouTube space to come to a more logical perspective or a more theoretical perspective of the whole situation as a whole, from the point where Duck was killed all the way up until where we got now, which is Momma Duck going on different platforms expressing how she feels about the situation as a whole. Shout out to Say Cheese.
Sometimes life can get pretty busy in an active household. So that's why Menards makes things just a little bit easier for you. Start a door design.
Save big money at Menards.
So none of Duck's close friends, I don't want to say no names, but the inner circle that we know to be around Duck in the early stages of the drill scene, they didn't keep it real with you.
No. And I'm going to put it out there.
Well, see, unlike other people, I can stop this shit and give perspective of damn near every 20 seconds if I really need to. Because Say Cheese, like I said, shout out to you. How many people have you interviewed or built relationships with over the years that then ultimately got killed or passed away? So you saying for everybody that you know, you looking out for all of their family every single time their mama needs some money, regardless of the fact. So I'm not saying that you haven't gave anybody or looked out for anybody's family that has been in your platform, but just imagine if you did something from it, then they always expect to have their hand out trying to receive more. I'm not saying this is what Momma Duck doing, but when you ask her, Say Cheese, about other young gentlemen that you already know what type of circumstances they in, which is living in Chicago, and none of them really didn't came across enough finances to be able to have to avoid Chicago as a whole. How in the fuck are they gonna look after somebody else's whole mama, man? I don't even understand that. If I died, I wouldn't expect my damn homies and them to be looking out for my mama and paying for light bills and putting extra food or giving her extra money and shit. What the fuck? Nigga, I don't know what world y'all live in, boy.
No.
No proceeds, no nothing.
Nothing. And they feel like they don't owe me shit. It was even stated. We don't owe you shit. We don't owe you nothing. But everything my son.
So, Momma Duck, what do they owe you? They owe you their last resources of the shit that they barely even got? I don't understand. Unless some of these dudes that was around Duck got more money than Duck had, how can they be looking out for you if Duck was the one looking out for them, like I done previously stated in a couple different videos? How? So let's go on. And this whole thing goes into the FBG Duck manager, aka the Manny dude, that whole situation, because now he then recently came out with a interview with Truth Teller or Telling Truth, True Lies TV, and started to quote unquote clear up some of the accusations or rumors on his name. Here.
Did and built was for the game, for his homies. And this is and I'm tired of not saying, speaking up on it, but no, even from the time, from not saying that I hear from them, okay? Like the line, that's Dutch, I hear from them. He calls me. He checks on me.
That's all we can
You
do.
know what I'm saying? But I might hear from a couple of them, but financially, no. So to answer your question, no one that he's in his inner circle has did anything besides try to make me look bad on the internet, say that I'm chasing clout off my son, like he wasn't a clout, or like I ain't the clout. I am the clout, big, so I don't gotta chase nothing. Okay? And that's just how I felt about it.
But just because we feel like certain things, Momma Duck, that doesn't necessarily make it true. And come to find out, it's just a lot of different older rappers. I can't think of their name off the top, but I didn't listen to a couple of these older songs within the last few months around the maybe do or die era and shit like that. People been using clout. So since your son reinvented it or made it more relevant at the time that he quote unquote did, he didn't necessarily created it. He just made it back relevant, or made it relevant as far as now the rest of the world want to use it, because now a lot of the world is using a lot of slang that's in the music today. But for you to say that you is clout, if ma'am, Momma Duck, if you was clout, then you would have already had certain things in the works when Duck was first taking off with the music, or when he first started receiving X amount of dollars. If you were the clout, you should have been the one that was in control of his finances on a more business level, and not on a what you spend it. I want something too. Buy me this and buy me that. Because I know you probably don't understand that a lot of people that's on YouTube really don't pay attention. And I'm not for sure.
Yeah. But
I do want to look at this real quick. That chain does not look as, what should I say, authentic or as expensive as the original one Duck had it on. It was a little closer to your neck, and it looked like it was more of a diamond studded rope chain. This looked like it's maybe a little smaller subset version of that. So I ain't gonna accuse you of doing nothing, but I understand how shit gets when you have to start to pawn off valuable material that you quote unquote didn't think you was gonna have to do, because you think that the label owes your son X amount of dollars, and then since he ain't here, then basically you feel like you owed X amount of dollars.
for them to get on
Right.
the internet and try to, and these are his homies. These are his friends. For them to get on the internet and try to make me look bad because of something that me and their father, because my beef was never with them. My beef was with their father.
See, that's he talking about the FBG Duck manager, the Manny dude. So she said her beef was never with the boys. It was always with their daddy, the Manny dude. We're gonna get into that shortly.
With Young's their father. This is the man who was like, if had a lot to, not anything to do with Duck signing, but he was his manager. Okay.
She said in one breath, it wasn't anybody that had anything to necessarily do with Duck signing to a label, but it was quote unquote his manager. You didn't even know what was going on. This is why I say a lot of people we're so financially illiterate. All we think is money, 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 but we don't think of the process it takes to make the money that you getting more valuable or make it double in value, shall I say. It's not about it's not about what you got or what they giving you. It's about what do you know about the shit that they giving you. They said, hold on, what you talking about? Just like they gave all these, this was a social experiment when they gave everybody them PPP loans and people was able to get a little more, 10, 20K. And then, but it come to find out, 90% of the people that got that shit didn't know what the fuck to do with that money when they got it. And guess what? The people around them didn't even know what to do with that money when they got it. Just for instance, in my own perspective, I had a couple homeboys that got that money, and I tried to give them more, as far as tangible perspective of ways to invest that money to make it work for them. But they was so scared to lose that money in a investment or think they wouldn't make their money back, and they rather just spend that money for the time being on shit that they won't. So this is what Momma Duck was doing the whole time Duck was alive. And Duck didn't know no better because his mama and all the people around him didn't know no better. And the ones that did know better, which was the Lil Chris, the Bo Deals, and a few other people like that around him, and people that was trying to encourage him to move, he was more loyal to his mama than anybody else, and to them, his homeboys. But his homeboys didn't know nothing, so they didn't have no say-so about anything that his mama was telling them. So this is why maybe Duck left his mama out of certain business things when it came to that dude, Manny, because he already knew he already knew his mama was this type. But he kept his mama in line, and that's why we didn't get to see her as much as she probably wanted to be on social media while he was alive.
But what type of manager would sell your son's song to a label and don't give you the money, knowing that you needed to bury your son?
I'm gonna say sell it for you, you know?
From what I've heard, it was sold for $14,000, like that.
And you didn't get a penny.
Not one red.
Oh, they did a nice song. I did remember hearing that. I think I started hearing that song after he died though, low key. So I can almost agree maybe that they probably did sell that song afterwards. I didn't start hearing that song until afterwards. I'm like, damn, I rock with this song.
They bought it because it was unreleased, I think.
Who bought it? But you
I mean,
don't know what
sold
you're
it.
talking about. Who?
Well, she said that they sold it because
Who that bought it though? You just said they bought it because it was unreleased.
they bought ownership to the
Who?
song. Maybe the people he was signed to, not his manager. If she's saying he the one that
Who
sold
are they
it.
gonna buy it from?
Him.
Who?
The people she's talking about. She said whoever she said sold it for $14,000. Who she said his manager was.
Then.
And then like he used to have the song as like an intro, but you were like, dang, where this song at? It was a couple of other songs, but it never dropped. I don't think until after he died.
Well, Doug wasn't dropping till after he died. That's why I just said to you when you just said that.
Which means this is what the time frame she's describing though. She said she needed the money to bury him, so it was around the same time.
I mean, that's what she's saying, but I'm not going into that. About that. I was talking about that song when she just said it, that I didn't hear that song until after he died, so it didn't come more relevant. So I said that's more believable as far as what she saying about they sold the song, not about she needed money for the fucking funeral. Because she didn't need no goddamn money for no funeral, because the label already, like we already know, labels already have life insurance or something like that already tied into their contract. So if something is to happen, then they're going to be able to save money by in return having life insurance on you. So whatever they do come out of pocket with for your funeral expenses, they're going to get it back with their life insurance. So why wouldn't they already have that paid for? What the thing is that she ain't gonna want to say, no, you wanted that extra money for yourself. So if they only sold the song for $14,000. That's pennies on the dollars anyway. In my head, that song was at least worth a couple $100,000 if it was marketed and promoted it in the best way. And then to see this is where FBG Duck style and momentum of music was going. It's like, damn, we ain't gonna get that. We ain't gonna get that same sound no more. Exactly. We ain't gonna get them LA Capone sound. We ain't gonna get that Rondo sound. We ain't gonna get that King Von. We ain't gonna get that Moo Moo Crump sound. We ain't gonna get that Lil JoJo sound. We ain't gonna get that OTF Nunu sound. And the list go. We ain't gonna get that Young Pappy sound no more. You hear me though? We done killed off majority of our generational history way before they even got to make history. They just became a part of history. They didn't even get to make their own history.
It said because he died August 4th, 2020, and then the video was dropped December 2020.
Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't start hearing it like the full song with him and Lil Chris until after. I'm like, oh damn. It made you feel like, damn. Exactly. So that's what the labels do. That's what we're gonna get to it later on in the video. That's why I don't jump the gun. You gotta gradually get into it. If I jump the gun, then I ain't gonna never be able to get to it where I have time to go to.
Okay. Now, from what I've heard, that he told the label that he was gonna give me the money for Duck's funeral. So
Did he tell you that or not? So now we need to find out, did he actually tell you that? Because he did say that he did tell you that in the thing that he had $8,000 that he was gonna give you for the funeral and X, Y, and Z.
he called me because when we left the hospital, I was saying that I'm not putting him in no ground. I was getting him cremated. So his response was, what the fuck you getting him cremated for? Because this my son. So like the next 3 days down the line, I hadn't even made Duck arrangements yet. But he called.
She said how many days? 3 weeks?
I think she said days.
Oh, hopefully she ain't say a week.
You ain't know the funeral. Hopefully not that long.
Oh, okay. But shout out to Doug if he did want to be cremated. Fuck all that getting buried in the ground shit. And we in a whole different era. Like, if I'm gone, I'm gone. You hear me though? Like, all that extra hyped up funeral shit where you got a whole bunch of low line of people looking at the fucking best they can, bitches with fat booties with leggings on, thongs on, showing up to your funeral and shit. Bitch, this ain't shit but a goddamn sympathy of sexually frustrated people. Cause I don't want that shit. So I'm pretty sure he ain't want a whole long list of motherfuckers just lining up for his funeral and shit, or being able to make a mockery out of his grave site and different shit like that. So like I said, when he gone, you gone. So hey, shout out to him to one being cremated. When I leave this motherfucker, I'm gonna get cremated. But that's not what the whole point of this is, Momma Duck. That the whole point of it is that you should have been more financially aware of your son's business long before he was killed, because then in return you would have maybe took into consideration as far as trying to live a more sustainable lifestyle to be able to get out of Chicago.
And say, I left $8,000 at the funeral home. That should be enough for you to cremate Duck. This was his attitude. This is how he was talking to me. So I say, I'm not even having Duck no funeral. Okay? So I guess he took that as if he actually took the money to the funeral home. He went back and got it. So about 3 days after that, when I needed the money, because I had to come up with the money because he wasn't insured or nothing. So I was able to come up with the money. So when
So you was able to come up with the money basically by asking other people. But the 3 days prior to that, in your timeline, you stated that he told you that he had the $8,000 to get Duck cremated or whatever he said, and then in return you said you ain't even having Duck no funeral, but you ain't say you ain't having Duck no funeral, but it's still gonna cause X, Y, and Z. So then you thinking, oh, okay, I'm this clout, I'm big clout. I can call 3 days later and say, hey nigga, you got that money still? I need that money now. Like, hold on, this ain't how. So this is how you already operating business about your son's death. Just imagine how you was operating business while your son was alive. That's like I said earlier. That's why probably he didn't actually even tell you that much information about the thing that was happening as far as his dealings with the label and that Manny dude and all this type of stuff. Because all of this stuff that you saying that he said, there's a whole bunch of he say, she say. Yeah, I heard it was this much. I heard it was this much, or I heard this. Why did it take? Why ain't you? If you his mama, see, if he actually wanted you in cahoots or in the mix of things, they would have been able to. He would have had you in the contract as far as something happened. Then I need my mama to know certain different information. You can write your contract up however you want, or put your own stipulations within the contract. But if you just got people around you that you just looking to sign for the money and have majority ownership of your shit, but you're not looking for it as what'll happen to this shit after I'm dead and gone, or if something happened to me, who gonna be in control of this shit? And as we see with a lot of different rappers, how the industry or the music industry is becoming more in control of rappers after they perish.
I called him. This was before I had the money. And I say, Manny, we need the money. We need the $8,000. His response was, oh, I used it for something. I had to use it for something else. That was his response. And I never heard nothing back from him until his house got shot up. And these are kids who I consider my kids, okay? And these are kids who I know got kids that I love. So why would I be behind anything happening to your house? But the fact that he called me and say, all gloves is off, my house just got shot up, as if I had something to do with it.
Well,
Do me. You know what I'm saying? So
that is something that we can't put our fingers on because that's some street shit. It could have been some dudes that already are into it with his sons, FBG Cash and Young. So we not gonna put it past that. We not gonna say that Momma Duck had dudes go and shoot up her house. I don't feel like she probably even got that much notoriety to have people do some shit like that. Maybe Duck did about his mama. If it was some situation that involved his mama, then yeah, he can go get some nigga and then they can go in return retaliate. But as far as her on her own, just over some shit like that, I mean, maybe so. I mean, you never know. It is Chicago, so. But we're going to skip past and we're going to go into FBG Duck manager Manny. La Su to V.
What job will Phil help you discover?
No, this ain't no loud
ZipRecruiter.com.
rant. This ain't no blown out of proportion perspective or opinion. I don't give a blogger's opinion. I just give a street point of view from a logical perspective.
Before we even drop, that's before even the EP drop.
So now we down. Now the problem came.
Actually, no. What the fridge there? This is the one we need to go to right here. And get it in.
What's happening? What's the question you want to ask?
Okay, the question I was going to ask you about, it was something about you didn't want to help, or you was kind of angry at a bad attitude at the funeral.
Hey, listen. And this the honest truth about this. The whole situation about the funeral that she brought up that we weren't willing to pay for it, and I took the money back. The truth is, yeah, I did take the $8,000 back, but I'm gonna tell you honestly the reason why. First, the funeral was actually paid for. Totally 100% paid for. I think we had like, between me and the label, it was 21, was it 21,000? Was it 21,000? 21,000, right? It was 21,000 at the funeral.
See, I just want to know now. He was asking this other dude on the other side that we don't know who is. He's like, it was 21,000. Who the hell is this dude? Is this your assistant, or who else is on the sideline that's behind the camera that we can't see that's corroborating your story? But then the person that you got sitting in the video is Cash. So in other words, since that's being your son, and after the situation with Duck didn't happen, wouldn't you be looking to your son and be like, you remember when I showed you this stuff, so I can tell you that I wasn't lying? Wasn't 21,000? Why not ask him, or why asking the dude that's on the behind the scenes that we don't even fucking know who this is? People barely just found out who you is, as far as you coming out and quote unquote clearing the air of the rumors and accusations, but you should have already had this known coming on the interview. You shouldn't have to ask somebody behind the scenes or behind the camera about something if we don't even know who that is to back your story up. So anybody can have somebody on behind the camera saying, "Yep, that was you. Yep, hell yeah, it was 21,000." Matter of fact, I think it was $20,567. I don't even really think it was 21,000 for real. Like, okay.
Now, first of all, let me say this. The last thing, I'm gonna try my best, cause me and Sheena we have a great cordial. We had. I still respect her. I still love her to death. You know, I'm not surprised, and I don't hate for what she have done, but I'm disappointed at her. You know, I'm disappointed in.
I'm not surprised. So he already know what type of woman she is, and Duck already know what type of woman his mama was. So this is why he didn't bring everybody around his mama, because he already knew his mama was loud and obnoxious and ratchet. And she'd just be getting drunk and just talking her shit. And everybody don't want to be hearing that shit. And then you don't want somebody to have to say the wrong thing. So it takes a certain type of individual to tolerate or to phony kick it with a person like Momma Duck. So when he said he wasn't surprised that she did it, but he was disappointed, like, damn, he thought it was a little better than that. I'm not saying that he right. I'm not saying that she wrong. But the simple fact that he said he's not surprised, but he was disappointed. Maybe he just disappointed in how the situation unraveled. Not necessarily disappointed at her for reacting a certain way, but disappointed at how the situation turned out. He thought it was going to turn out a little bit more on his side. But when she basically turned down the $8,000 and then in return tried to come back and say, hold on, I do want that $8,000. Hold on, I already used that for something else. Now, you beat. Hold on, what the fuck you mean you didn't use that for something else? Oh, hell no. What the fuck, you only leave my fucking son out here? He needs fucking, if I need this shit for this and that. Well, hold on, Sheena. You told me a couple days ago that you ain't getting no fuck about that money, and goddamn, you don't need that money. Well, yeah, you know, but I still did need that shit though. That's what I said. All right. So if you was telling your son Duck some of these same type of things about business propositions or just everyday life struggles or how to maneuver in life, if you was just giving off that same energy, this is probably why he got to a more arrogant state of mind, and then just start staying. He stayed in Chicago and just ultimately got caught lollygagging.
And I'm disappointed in her because everything she said at the time she was saying it, I kind of sat back and told her, right, don't respond to it, because my thing was, it was brief, I know she lost Brittany, I know she lost the baby girl, the twin, and I know she lost Doug. And I knew what position Doug played within that family. So I know Duck was the glue to that family. So
And see, when he say Duck was the glue to that family, this is what I mean, and this is what I said earlier on in the video where Momma Duck, how can you expect other people to basically take care of you the same way your son was taking care of you if he was not only the glue to your family, but he was the glue to the block? He was the glue. He was the backbone to STL or to FBG in that block. Once he died, a lot of that shit broke apart. Just like Lil JoJo was the backbone to that block over there on the other side of FBG now, or like LA Capone was the backbone to 600, and once he died, it kind of like faded away. And same thing with Vaughn and just a whole slew of other people. So you can't in return expect these young brothers, these young lost brothers, to start making sacrifices after your son died and start giving they resources and sacrificing their money to give to you for something that they already know ain't gonna be beneficial for y'all as a whole in the future.
when it first started, the day, man, I'm telling you, the day Duck died, that's when the bullshit was already in play before he died. The snakes had already laid the plan down.
Who were the snakes? He said the day that Duck died, the bullshit started happening. So this is just like what I just said. If he was the backbone to not only his mama and the ones around him, but he was the backbone to STL. He was the backbone to FBG. He was the backbone to a lot of different connections that he had within the city of Chicago. So once he died, that's basically them knocking off they basically knocked over their queen in chess. He said, hold on, the queen, he the king, he a dude. Nigga, if you probably don't play chess, then you a checker type nigga. So get the fuck off my channel then. So they knocked off the queen. That's the dude that can make all the moves. He can move just like everybody else can. He can move all the way up until the point of he can move just like a pawn if he want to. Or he can move like a rook. Or he can move like a knight. Or he can move like a bishop. You hear me though? So once they knocked over that piece, they say all the bullshit started happening. So all the other pieces no longer felt secure that they had somebody, that they had a strong backbone anymore. If you ever play chess and you lose your queen, no matter how many pieces you got left, it just feel like you're at a complete disadvantage now. You damn near feel like, yeah, the game over with, man. You can go, you won this one. And that's how a lot of people goddamn look at life. Once certain people die in a family or in a certain group, things never go back to the way that they was because we didn't actually know or actually appreciate the person that was actually the backbone to our group or to our family. I'm not saying that we ain't say we love them or we ain't goddamn just was genuine to them. No, what I mean is we didn't sacrifice more of our own resources and time to make sure that the backbone to our group makes it to the next level, because in return, if we know that the backbone makes it to a higher level, we're going to always have a bridge connected to something bigger than ourselves. So when he said Duck died, all the bullshit started. I mean, everybody got to officially say the shit that they wanted to say. Not about FBG Duck personally, no, but about each other. So the backbone is like when you at a family reunion or something, then your grandma there and she the backbone, then but you got other people in the family that you might not necessarily see eye to eye with, but as long as grandma there and we in a whole sitting together, then we can be cordial. But as soon as if grandma leave or if it's something where grandma passed or something like that, or grandma ain't in the picture no more, then we will start to wear these differences on our sleeves and start to actually look at each other a certain way. So this is what, before Duck died, him and Momma Duck was cool because Duck was that bridge and that link in between them. Before Duck died, Momma Duck didn't have nothing bad to say about none of them dudes. And guess what? Even then, when Duck didn't have it back in the day, them dudes didn't give Momma Duck no money. So when they all was broke, they didn't give Momma Duck no money. So when Duck got a little money and then was helping you out, but in return you keep thinking that he helping everybody else when he was probably just doing the thing that he was more tangible to him, which is just looking out for his homies in his close vicinity, the ones that didn't ultimately die before he was able to gain more traction and momentum within the rap game.
Before he died. And I'm not saying that, and I would never say that she was the snake. I'm saying she allowed that snake to infiltrate what we had built, what we had going.
So in my mind, the snake is she let the internet get to her head after Duck died, because if everybody can pay attention, the snake that he's talking about is he talking about social media. He could be talking about somebody more specific, but we're going to keep it general. He's talking about social media because remember what I said before Duck died. We never really heard anything about Momma Duck going on rants and talking her shit about niggas ain't shit, or goddamn she goddamn big clout and she is clout and all this shit. No, we ain't hear none of that shit. We ain't hear her talking her shit. We ain't hear her on there rolling up woods, none of that shit. She was doing all of that shit offline. No, why? Because Duck kept her ass in check, because she in return wanted that check that Duck was getting. Hey, you can call it what you want, but that's why she stayed in her place when Duck was alive, because he was paying for the shit that she wanted to do. Simple as that. So in return, she was not online doing all this social media shit. So when Duck died, guess what she was able to do? So in her head, she thinking like, okay, my son got a whole bunch of money, because this is what she just see through social media about all these rappers, and they got all this money, and they got all this money and back end and all this shit. She thinking she finna get X amount of dollars. She thinks she damn near finna be on Love and Hip Hop Chicago next. This is the mentality of a lot of women that come to find out it was a rude awakening that no, it ain't finna be glitter and gold. This shit finna be goddamn gutter and trap. Same place that your ass came from. It's the same place your ass, the same shit you finna look at. And that's the sad part, but it could have been glitter and gold if you would have been more financially aware of your son's future. Fuck all that street shit. Fuck all that other shit. Fuck all of that rolling up woods and I'm clouting all this shit. No, you should have been more financially aware. Fuck this dude. You should have been more financially aware of where do you want to see your son in the future. Once you found out your son started to get into the music industry, it ain't nothing to start learning the trade of the game. So you could have started learning more manager type things as far as music or as far as accounting, different shit like that. And he had a nice amount of time. You had 5 to 6, 7, 8 years since he started rapping to invest all of your resources and all of your time to learn a new talent, which in return which would have helped boost your own son's career. You could have been the Debbie Waka Flocka to FBG Duck. Oh my God, you heard it here first. Momma Duck, with the charisma and the personality that you have, that's exactly who you remind me of, just from the side that didn't know enough to do enough. Oh my God, funny as hell. Wow, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna just play that shit.
And when you're going in the right direction, uh, first of all, I want to apologize.
I believe that he was going in the right direction when Zach TV was out and Zach TV was more relevant in the Chicago space. I believe a lot of rappers was had their head on straight, but when Zach TV was killed, that took the hope and momentum from Chicago from 75% back down to 35, 45%, lower than 50%. So in return, like I said in my video, FBG Duck was talking about leaving Chicago way back when Zach TV was alive still, right after Brick got killed. He wasn't on no, fuck them, I'm finna stay in Chicago, Zach TV, man. I'm finna ride out. Them niggas pussy. That's why they ain't here in Chicago no more. No, he wasn't saying that shit. So he wasn't on the right path now. So he lying right there. So this is why I say you can't believe everything everybody's saying. He had him on the right path. No, you didn't. No, he didn't. Because if you had him on the right path as a manager, you would have said, man, look, I'm finna stop managing your music. And matter of fact, I'm finna withhold all your shit unless you move out of Chicago. So I ain't gonna produce or goddamn put out any more of your music until you leave Chicago. Cause we need this business. Your mama needs you for the future, and everybody else around you is also looking forward towards you being able to benefit them on a more tangible level in the near future. So you wasn't having him on a certain path because he was still out there looking crazy, goddamn making all these diss songs and doing all this other shit. And he wasn't learning how to articulate his disses in a more radio fashion like Lil Durk is able to do now, where he was able to diss people subliminally and not actually even have to say all of the I killed this nigga, I don't give a fuck, and I'ma spit on your grave, nigga, cause this spit on your grave 3, nigga. He ain't gotta say all that shit no more. He know how to subliminally articulate his raps to diss the niggas that he don't like. And this is what's building his traction and momentum now. So when you say that you had him on a good path, I can't believe you there, man. Because he didn't look like he was on a better path. It looked like he was on a path to self-destruction because he didn't give a fuck about a nigga running up on him, because he just felt like, hey, if a nigga run up on me, I'm going to shoot back, nigga. And if he kill me, oh well. But when he was laying on that ground for that 22 minutes, I don't think he was thinking about he ain't give a fuck. Now you got your whole life flashing in front of you. See, we'll go into that later.
The only person that really know, I never told nobody this, but Duck's dad. And me and Duck's dad had a conversation. He called me one day, and I think Duck, what's Duck as a big, not Jasmine, Nikki, Nikki, right? Nene. I'm sorry, Nene. Nene, she was on the phone, and
this nigga went from Jasmine, or hold on, no, I think it was Nikki. He said, yeah, Nikki. Then he looked at Cash and said, yeah, Nikki. And then Cash, what Cash do? Cash nodded his head, yeah, this was Nikki. And then he said, oh, no, my bad, Nikki, it was Nene. Nigga, hold on, you just looked at Cash and this nigga agreed that it was Nikki. Who the fuck is these people? Not saying that we supposed to know them, but you looked at him and said, oh, it was Nikki. Cash shook his head. Yes, yeah, it was Nikki. You said, oh, no, my bad, it was Nene. Because then the other dude on the background studied corroborating your story. He said, no, it was Nene. So now you got these motherfuckers not even on the same page that sitting in the same room. Psst, you never know what's going on for real.
The one thing Doug Daddy told me was, hey Manny, you know, I don't have a problem with you. He said, every time I talk to my son only spoke highly of you. My son said you was like a father to him. He said, the problem I have is if you said you love my son like you did, why you didn't give her the money? And he never knew this. And the first thing I did was apologize. So I told him, I said something to the effect like, you know, first of all, man, I want to apologize to you. And I did love your son. I looked at Duck like he was actually my son. Matter of fact, all these little cats, all these young men, I look at them like they my son. And I just allowed Sheena to put me in a petty situation. I ain't that type of guy. You know what I mean?
Heard what he said. He just let Sheena be able to put him in a petty situation, and he ain't that type of nigga. This is why a lot of people in Chicago, this is the reason why a lot of things and a lot of situations happen, because women have us feeling some type of way and put us into a petty situation where we feel like at that moment in time we have to react, and most of the time we react in petty because the women are always on a more manipulative type manner or condescending type manner, so that in return, instead of getting too overly aggressive with the women, we become to be petty and try to belittle or do different things to piss off or get under their skin. So I can definitely believe that FBG Duck, Momma Duck, got some petty ways, and she made him feel some type of way and probably said some shit that she don't want to restate on social media that made him feel some type of way, that made him feel like he didn't want to give her the money no more because she making him feel like he obligated to pay her when he was in business with her son and not her. They had a cordial relationship through the bridge of FBG Duck.
The discussion was, what made me make that petty decision was, she turned the label money down. Because I don't want to make, I'm not trying to make her look bad. She wanted to know why the $21,000 we had up there for Duck's funeral, why we just wouldn't convert it over to a check to give to her. And I was explaining to her, I can give you the cash, but on their end, it have to be invoiced. They need an invoice. So what they basically was asking me to do was, okay.
Yeah, we know what invoice is. And the whole thing is, Momma Duck, right after your son died, before you all even then cremated him, buried him, or gave him his going away festival, you want to recoup all this money. So that means you didn't have anything tangibly invested in none of the resources or none of the money that he gave you. You don't think he gave his money, mama? He don't think he gave his mama no money? He said he bought this woman multiple cars, talking about he bought her a house, shit that she probably didn't have to forfeit on, shit that she didn't have to get rid of. Because that little house that she living in now, that she being live in with all them damn kids, them his kids, her grandkids, or goddamn more kids, I'm pretty sure she was not having to live in that goddamn space when Duck was alive. So you didn't have to resort to go back to the goddamn ghetto. And this is why you so mad, because you didn't never see yourself as far as having to backtrack and go back to the projects of where you came from. Because when Duck was alive, I'm pretty sure you was a type petty person that was trying to go around and shit on other motherfuckers that lived out there where you had just came from. This is the petty tendencies a lot of women and a lot of people that come from the projects and hood have. Once they get a little bit more than the next motherfucker, they got them start to think they too good. So then, like I said, soon after your son died, before you got to cremate him, bury him, or have the funeral, you was already looking for money. And like I said, if Duck had gave you resources, cars, houses, and money, why you ain't starting no fucking business? You didn't have no business to start. You didn't have no ideas. You didn't say, "Hey, Duck, let's go into business doing this. We doing the rapping on the side. We're gonna use this 25,000 right here, and we're gonna invest in this business." And then this dude said that he got a deal for around. Hold on, we ain't got there yet.
I can go, but the same guys who slept in the same bed, ate at the same table, did maybe some shit I don't know about or may know about, and you're not gonna give them the okay to come to the funeral. But in the same situation, people calling, "Oh yeah, y'all get the address to the funeral." Now we ain't get it. Well, she giving the address out, and she want them to wear these colors, these colors. And she never once, so I'm calling my kids, my boy was like, "All right, did she call you all and tell you all what the funeral address is?" No. So it's like you asking me for my $8,000, oh yeah, you could come, but they can't come. And I allow her to put me in a position, but I made a weak ass decision like that. And to this day, man, it's not a day that I regret that. And I regret that because at that split moment, I made it about her, and it should have never been. That situation should have never been about her. So, her saying that the funeral was paid, man, the funeral was totally. I mean, everything was paid for. Everything. When I say everything, it was 21,000 up there, and if she needed more, it wasn't no problem getting it for it. It wasn't no problem.
She didn't want to spend all that money on toward that boy's funeral. She wanted to say the funeral was X amount of dollars, pay X amount of dollars for the funeral, and then take the rest of the back end money with her home to make her feel better at the for the moment. That's all it really is. She didn't want to spend all the money on that funeral.
Well, 7, 8 months, he was telling me, coming. And my job was to deliver him to his dad. And if he wanted his daddy to take over the situation, man, I'd have stood right back next to him. Because that's where it should have been. Nah, let me talk, man.
Oh shit, I done fucked up.
Easy sleeve. OxyClean laundry and home sanitizer.
Here we go.
Kills
We get the
99.9%
commercial.
of germs.
Wait, Batista's more than dry shampoo.
Hey man, make sure you like, like and subscribe to the channel. You heard me though? Hold on, what was we at? I think we was about 7, 8. Yeah, we got right here.
Situation, people calling, oh yeah, y'all get the address to the funeral. Now we ain't get it. Well, she giving the address out, and she want them to wear these colors, these colors. And she never once, so I'm calling my kids, my boy was like, all right, did she call you all and tell you all what the funeral address is? No. So it's like you asking me for my $8,000, oh yeah, you could come, but they can't come. And I allow her to put me in a position, but I made a weak ass decision like that. And to this day, man, it's not a day that I regret that. And I regret that because at that split moment, I made it about her, and it should have never been. That situation should have never been about her. So, her saying that the funeral was paid, man, the funeral was totally. I just wanted to be able to deliver that man back to his daddy. We knew his daddy was coming home for 7, 8 months. He was telling me, coming. And my job was to deliver him to his dad. Hey, if he wanted his daddy to take over the situation, man, I'd have stood right back next to him. Because that's where it should have been. Nah, let me talk, man.
He had paused. Cash respectfully waited till I think that's his daddy paused to try to get a word in, to try to maybe clear it up or to give a different perspective from being in the passenger seat of FBG Duck from the time that FBG Duck became FBG Duck. And what his daddy do? He said, nigga, nah, shut up. Be quiet, cuz, let me talk. Sit your baby ass down. Nigga, I'm talking right now. Nigga, I'm talking to the Telling True Live TV. Hold on, nigga, this is my interview. Hold on, what you got him sitting right there for then? So you got him sitting right there basically to boost your image, to let people know that you still rocking with FBG because that's your son. But if you got him if you got him sitting in the interview with you, and then he waited 8 minutes to even say anything in general, and then you cut him off where you say he can't talk, what the fuck is the point of having him in a video for then? So that's why I say we don't really know what's really going on, and I ain't saying neither party right or wrong. What I'm saying, matter of fact, I'm saying both parties is wrong. Matter of fact, I'm saying he didn't have Duck on the right wave or right path as far as financially in the future for his safety of his children, and for since he is the backbone to not only his homies but his family, his close family as well. He didn't have him on the right path, and his mama didn't have him on the right path either, as far as being more aware of how cunning and how selfish certain people could be in business. Once you get into the business of 100,000s and shit like that, people become to be more shiesty and more for their self gain. But we all want to hear what Cash was gonna say, but he didn't want to hear. He didn't want us to hear what he was had to say about the situation that he was just stated, when you clearly just paused because you were finishing up with your last clearing of your accusation.
Another thing I wanted to ask you, because we finally get a chance to speak with you. You was kind of like a myth in the drill culture. We all knew about.
He wasn't a myth in the drill culture. He was just a myth in FBG Duck situation.
It's kind of like a rumor that's going on. A lot of videos that's posted on YouTube about, FBG Duck manager, he took his money. He played the label deal with him. He took all the royalties and things like that. Is it a way you want to kind of clear that up?
All right, let me clear that up. And what I'm finna say, I'm basically going out I'm basically responding to some of the things she said. So it's easy to kind of take what she said and what I said and put them together. All right, it is true. Doug got the deal. Thanks. Doug got the deal for $325,000. The label cut Doug a check. The label gave him an advance of $150,000.
So when they gave Duck that $150,000, what do you think he did with that money? Helped out his mama to the utmost that he could, and helped his homies out for a little bit, and probably did what he could do as far as putting up some of it and spending some of it for himself. Of course, my perspective of it is, once he got that $150,000, this is why I say neither one of them, not this dude or his mama, had him on the right track. If $150,000 ain't enough to move out of Chicago to continue to take your rap career serious, then no money was never gonna be enough. If $150,000 is not enough to move out of any fucking state at that point, even if you can just pay up rent for 1 or 2 years somewhere else, and then in that 1 or 2 years while you didn't paid up your rent out of that $150,000, you study honing in on your craft, which is rapping, and then you study putting out music, so you in return study receiving more revenue, so in return you're study getting more money. So if I'm not saying neither one of them didn't say that, but for the simple fact that he didn't feel like he was forced to leave Chicago, or he felt like he didn't have enough resources or income to leave Chicago with $150,000, and then this man didn't tailor it to where like, okay, yeah, we're gonna get the 150,000, and then we're gonna go and goddamn make get us a little apartment somewhere or a little loft. We're gonna pay it up for X amount of years. We're gonna put us a little studio in there, and then we just gonna goddamn work, man. We're gonna leave this street shit where it's at. And then hold on, and we're gonna take your mama out here. We're gonna take your mama with us too. We're gonna put her somewhere close by. You hear me though? It ain't gonna be as nice as our shit, but we're gonna put her somewhere close by, somewhere outside of Chicago, where we can all breathe and be able to perfect our craft. Man, like I said, $150,000. That ain't enough to move out of the city to take your goddamn life and career serious, not only for your life and your career for yourself, but for your goddamn kids. Nigga, you had 3-4 kids, and you had a damn mama that you, so you basically had a grown kid that you got to take care of already anyway. So nigga, $150,000.
They turned around and said, okay, for the 20%.
I'm going, yeah, I'm going with it, yeah. I'm going for the long haul. You heard me? Yes, sir. We live right now, man, in the flesh. Yeah, I ain't dreaming.
Sit down at the table, and this was the discussion. Every dime that they send me, I'm gonna push it back into you all. Because the thing is, she knew, everybody that around knew, how can I say this without, knew the financial situation. It wasn't like, I wasn't hurting for no money. I was okay. You know what I mean? So I did that out of straight love. And I always wanted to see them boys win.
So he already had a little money. So in return, this is why FBG Cash and FBG Young was always able to look a little bit more put together growing up with FBG Duck. So in return, so if they already had their daddy, and their daddy was already a little bit financially ahead of majority of his son's friends' parents. So when Duck got his little money, so in return he really didn't have to help out that many people then, because he was only cool with a handful of people. And motherfuckers like Billionaire Black and King Yella, they already been in their own lane, and they had already moved out of Chicago. So in return, only people that was holding him back to Chicago was this dude Manny and goddamn his mama. Them the only people that he actually still had ties with in Chicago, because everybody else goddamn either had already left Chicago or already had the freedom to leave Chicago whenever they wanted to. Because if he's saying that he already had a little money, so that means Cash and Young, they already been able to move how they want to move as far as in and out of Chicago. That's probably why they was able to stay out of the way and not subsequently become statistic of gun violence, because they already had enough money to, like I said, move around the way you need to move around when you quote unquote got beef. They probably didn't even have to live in the damn hood per se. They just probably was from there, but they ultimately probably lived outside of the hood where they ain't have to necessarily worry about shit as soon as they walk outside. I'm not saying they ain't lived in the hood or close by, but I'm saying they probably lived in, if you from the hood, you know that every goddamn block ain't like the other block. It's one block that got worse houses, there's another block that got a little better houses, there's a block up the street from that block that got a little bigger houses, a little nicer yards. Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to put them boys in a position, help them put them in a position where a lot of this shit they were going through. I know one thing: if your energy is focused towards something else, you don't have time for this BS.
True. So you should have said, "Cool, Matter of fact, with the money that they gave you, fuck Duck. Since you his manager, you said that you never took no show money from him or nothing, and you always wanted to see these boys go harder. When they gave you your 50,000, since you said you didn't even want your 70,000, you just wanted 50,000. Why didn't you take a portion of your money and take it to another state and do the same shit I said? Get a little apartment, put a studio in there, and then say, Duck, man, I can't help you no more. This is where I'm managing at from now on. This is where headquarters at in this state. So if you gonna keep doing this music shit, you gonna have to come out here if you want me to keep managing you. You hear me though? The Billy Cup dude, I'm pretty sure he versatile. He was moving around. He just wasn't trying to, as far as just be stuck on Chicago. No, he was trying to be a more versatile videographer. So you was able to take him with you as well. So you had already built up a team. You just waited. You just waited too late. And that's sorry, my friend, that you had to go out like that. But in the year 2022, shit is becoming more and more like iffy. Like you don't really know if you should do something, and then the time where you think you should do something, that's when it happened to you.
So that was my reason. I never took no money. Hey, one thing these boys can tell you, show money. I never took a dime from none of them.
No, you never took no show money. That's what he said. But he definitely didn't take his money out of the state and make it a more actual business as far as outside of Chicago. So you can get FBG Duck out of Chicago, and in return, Young and Cash and all them other ones who were going to follow behind them. Not follow behind them, but they were going to like, okay, yeah, we'll go out there too. And then if they already had King Yella and Billionaire Black and FYB J-Mane and shit that's all in Las Vegas and different shit like that, y'all already had people that was starting to branch out. So all it needed was Momma Duck to take her money. If Momma Duck would have said, okay, this what you're getting, but nah, I don't want no apartment here. You're going to have to give me an apartment in another state. You don't think that he would have did that shit for her out of that 150,000? Get his mama another place in another state? Then in return, since he wanted to be close to his mama, guess what? He had to be in that other fucking state. So and then if this dude would have did the same shit and goddamn made that his manager headquarters in another state, in return, Duck would have had to go to another state also to continue to pursue his music career. And if Duck would have put his kids in another state, in return, he would have to go to another state to visit and be around his kids. But since we in this illusion that 150,000 ain't that much, because once we get it and we didn't spend it on other shit, no. If we get that 150,000, spend that $50,000 on your life, and then that $100,000 look more abundant because of the things you already invested that $50,000 with.
This is what I'm trying to explain to him. Okay.
Ooh-wee! TV let's stop on the side now, boy.
They cut me $50,000 out of check.
Told you 50,000.
His lawyer was paying the 5%.
Fuck his lawyer. What did you do with your 50,000, man? He said, I did that. That was my money for me. Cool. I know.
Fee, which technically the label supposed to pay it, but in the contract they're cure that do Duck, so it wound up coming out that money. Now, it was, so I'm gonna say it was roughly, God, I want to say, I'll get a ballpark figure. So I'm gonna go with the 125,000. It was less than that left on the table. Duck had projects to deliver. So, with the record industry is everything they do. When they try to place a song on a playlist, put the song in the DJ hand, that's a cost that occurred, and you, the artist, pays that cost. So
Okay.
at the end, they pretty much ate up the back end money. So
So in return, that his managers, knowing that the music industry, the label is eating up the back end, you still didn't involve yourself or invest yourself to get Duck to not only leave Chicago for the betterment, so he can be able to deliver these projects. So in return, he can be able to sign a bigger deal, or to be able to create more revenue. Or you didn't even involve him in any new investments, so he can start to benefit off of different side hustles. If $150,000 ain't enough to move out of the state and start side hustles, yo, then I mean we doing the wrong. We too financially illiterate if we think we need more than $150,000 to move out of the state and start a side business, or to start side investments in anything. If we need more than $150,000 to move out of the state and start side investments on the side of the shit that you already indulging in, we as a people, we already lost, and we never gonna make it past here. So shout out to FBG Duck, man. R.I.P. It's TV Let's Die from the Star 9, and we out.